My guest today is Sarah Noel Block. Sarah is the founder of Tiny Marketing and the creator of the Lean Marketing Engine. She's passionate about revolutionizing marketing for founder-led business services companies. With over a decade of experience, she's mastered the art of efficient, high-impact marketing that drives growth without draining resources. In today's interview, Sarah is going to talk all about lead magnets, which I can't wait to get into. So she's going to tell us, how do you pick the right lead magnet? What tech do you need to consider? What should you do with your thank you page? And how to sell with a freebie and a whole lot more. Let's dive right in. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for being on my podcast today. I'm excited to talk to you.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And we've known each other a little bit through a podcast group, which is, thank God for LinkedIn, because I met you through there. I met Eric through, everyone in the group there. And if not for that, I'd have no social life whatsoever. So,
oh my gosh, me too.
Right. So I'm excited today to talk about lead magnets, just because I have so many questions. And so can we just talk a little bit first about what made you get into kind of specializing in lead magnets?
Oh man, I don't know what made me get into specializing in lead magnets, except that money is made in your email marketing. The bigger the list, the more likely you're going to sell more. So it was always a priority for me. Before I even had Tiny Marketing as a standalone business, I had lead magnets and an email newsletter because I knew eventually I would get there.
Yeah. Well, what do you consider a lead magnet? Because I know that can encompass a lot of different items, products.
So, yeah. I mean, it really is a ton of different things. So I classify lead magnets in two categories: passive lead magnets and active lead magnets.
Okay.
So passive ones are usually digital products. You can download them. They're done. The person who created them doesn't have to worry about them again. So those would look like quizzes, PDFs, templates, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then active lead generators or lead magnets, they are time sensitive. And they will tend to bring in a flood of people at one time, where passive ones kind of drip people in over time. So active ones could be like a panel, a webinar, usually some sort of virtual event or an event that you manufacture that is time sensitive, like the secret podcast is only available for 7 days, like that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never thought of it like that. That's interesting. Yeah, because I have some on my website they all fit the passive description you just described. They're just, people sign up, they get on my email list, and then that's it. So the other ones are more time sensitive, like you said, like a webinar, something that's going to have an expiration date on it, right? So how do you decide? I mean, do you use a combination? Because it seems like it would work, like both of them could work at the same time. Am I right?
I always have both. Because whatever pages of my website that are ranking really well in Google, I want a lead magnet around that. So I'll usually pick something that would work really well with those pages that are ranking. And those are passive, they're going. Or if I have a masterclass that's just killing it at explaining my signature offer and teaching people why it's important, that would be a great passive one. It's on demand. People can use it at any time, and it's always pulling people in. Mm-hmm. And then every 6 weeks, I'll do an active one where it's time sensitive. You got to get in during that time or you're missing out.
And what do you usually have for that? Do you do webinars?
Yeah, I do a mix. I do a mix of masterclasses and workshops. So I always love when you get paid to build your list. So it's always nice when you have some sort of low-cost digital product that's growing it. And you can do that with a workshop. My masterclasses are always free, though.
Okay, so it would be considered top of funnel, right? These products.
Yeah.
So how do you pick the right one? Does it vary depending on the niche? Like, say, I'm in the health and fitness niche. Does it matter, what your industry specialty is?
Yeah, definitely. What you want is to look at the person that you're selling to and what's what are they going through, like 2 to 3 steps before they would want to work with you? Because that's probably where they are right now. And that's the problem you want to solve. So once they solve that, they can be ready to work with you. That's the idea behind any lead magnet
Right.
or like low cost digital product, is solve those problems that they're dealing with in their current state so they can be ready to work with you.
That makes total sense. I started working a couple of years ago with a copywriting coach because I started listening to his podcasts. Of course, that was free. And then, I started looking more into like the workshops that he gave. And I was paying for like small lead magnets, like a $47, template or something like that.
Mhm.
And then eventually I ended up hiring him at a high level as a coach. But if I didn't have those other lead magnets, I wouldn't have just been as confident. And they had a great reputation, but it seems like it's just a great way to kind of nurture prospects.
That's exactly it. You're building trust with each one of those. If you can give this little win with each one of those and you help them accomplish something, it makes it so much easier for someone to say, well, they did it here. Of course, they're going to do that in a signature offer.
Yeah, especially if it's something free. They're like, wow, they're giving
Yeah.
it away. And I got this great benefit out of it. I wonder, if I paid for this,
Right? Exactly. I have put on so many free master classes, and a lot of those have converted to clients.
Is it, do you think it's something that's changing? Like I think about like the live webinars and you hear about, things that are trending and are not trending anymore. Are they still popular? Like the workshops and like, have you noticed a change at all?
No, actually, my live events are still doing really well. People still want to go to them. I prefer on demand, so I always offer that as an option too. You can sign up for this, and as long as you sign up within like this container, you can get the on demand version of it. What I do to encourage people to attend live, because it's always better when there's live people, is I'll do live bonuses. Like you come and you get these additional bonuses for attending live, because I know it's hard to take that hour out of your day.
Yeah. Because I know I had a course, a fitness course online a few years ago, and it's really hard to get people to show up. Like,
yeah, you have to incentivize to show up live.
Yeah.
I sign up for a bajillion different events, and there's only 2 reasons I'm going to attend live. Otherwise, I'm watching the on-demand version. It's either I know people that I would want to sell to are also going to be in that event, so I'd connect with them in the chat.
Interesting.
Or they're giving me something that I wouldn't be able to get otherwise if I attend live.
That is so interesting. I didn't even think about the first one. So you kind of look through the crowd and you're like,
yeah. Oh my God. That's like a huge biz dev thing for me, is attending these virtual events and chatting people up and moving them over to LinkedIn so I could build relationships with them.
I wouldn't even think about that. That's so funny. But it reminds me of this thing once I heard about. There was some kind of dating coach, and he said that he went to some kind of, it was an in-person event for people for singles who were looking, to meet other people. And he said it was so ironic that the speaker, was speaking and gave whatever talk he gave. And at the end, everyone just left. He says, you're in a room full of people that are single.
Right?
They're all
maybe chat.
No one's talking. They're just like, okay, I got the information. Now I'm just going to leave. It says, and all these people were like, because I'm looking around like, what are you doing? Like, it's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many niche communities that are putting on like monthly events that like they're niche around your specific audience. Why wouldn't you go to those events and connect with the people there?
Because you do a lot with meetups, right? I mean, is that what?
Ton. So I am in a bunch of like just niche communities that are on like Slack and Circle, that have my ideal audience in it. So I'm always active with those, but my own events are distributed on Meetup, and Meetup fills it for me. So you just have to make it really SEO optimized. That's like because they use the keywords to push it out to people who would want to go to your events.
Because I remember you said that, you talked about that in our podcast community group. And after that, I looked into the ones that were near me. And I didn't do anything with it yet, but it's still something that I just think it's such a great idea. And people don't think about that as a way to find leads.
Yeah. It shocked me actually how well it worked. I was on someone else's podcast and they said that's how they got every single client. I'm like, I'm going to test this out and see what it's about. He was not lying. Wow. I have almost 400 people that are in my events group, and I always fill up my events.
And you said these are virtual, or are they actual person, like in person?
Mine are virtual.
Okay, because I could do that. I just couldn't to leave the house.
I cannot take the time to leave the house.
That's what I'm thinking too. It's like, I don't want to go anywhere.
I'm not even wearing pants right now.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, what about, and people say this about podcasting too, like being afraid of the tech that you need. So what do you need for a lead magnet? Isn't there this whole, I don't know, like I said, a funnel? Do you need to have a whole funnel? How do you?
If you're marketing, you should definitely have an email marketing platform that you're using. And that's all you really need.
Okay.
So, and your funnel will take place in there. So someone downloads the lead magnet, and most of those email marketing platforms has some sort of landing page part of it that you can use. So they can sign up for it there. It will deliver the lead magnet for you. And then you can segment. And that segment then will be pulled through an email funnel, which could be like 7 emails where you're digging a little deeper and little teaching moments about that lead magnet and encouraging them to take the next step, or cross-selling or upselling.
Do you have a newsletter as well? Like, do you have one that goes out?
Hell yes, I do.
Of course. Well, you were talking about, like, I wouldn't know if it was all part of your funnel or that you have like one separate from that. Because once you're done with the 5 or 7 initial like nurturing emails, then what happens after that?
Yeah, then they go to my regular emails. They go out every Tuesday and sometimes more, but my regular email is on Tuesdays.
Okay. And so you use that also to sell, and I would imagine to get more leads. I mean, how do you use it? Do you use the, I forget what it's 3 emails with value, and then the 4th one is a sale? Like, do you use that kind of a cadence?
There are so many frameworks that you can do. I don't use that. What I do, my newsletter goes out every Tuesday, and it's always value. It's always giving them something. And maybe once a month, I'll do a flash sale. So there's 4 emails in a row, like Thursday to Monday, for a flash sale on a certain offer. And then if I'm pushing something specific, I might do a campaign around that. Like, if something makes sense to do once a quarter, I'll do it like a couple weeks before the quarter starts. Are
you gearing up? Like, we're recording this in October. Are you gearing up for the holidays already? Because I'm starting to think of it.
Yes, I already have an event scheduled that I'm selling, and planning out all of that.
Because sometimes these events, they sneak up like the holidays, and especially me being in the fitness world. I was on a podcast the other day, and I couldn't kick myself because I didn't have anything ready as far as, like she said, and this is she's a very big podcaster. And she said, do you have anything that you're selling that, I could promote for you? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what? So I have my custom, most of the people that come to me, they want copywriting, and they have a very customized, so I have a couple of productized services, but they're not really, you still have to contact me. So, but it made me think, this is a fitness copywriter. It's going to be January. I better get my act together with something. So, yeah. And I mean, I'm on a ton of podcasts, and I've tested out a lot of different things. And what has worked really well for me is having one of those low-cost digital products and giving a promo code for that podcast
where it might normally be $50, they're getting it for $9. And that has converted really well.
Yeah, I've seen it on a lot of other podcasts as well. I've only recently started really guesting on a lot, mainly because you recommended it.
Yeah, the more people hear you on other people's podcasts, the more they're going to want to listen to yours.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. I had last week, I had one day, I don't know where it landed, and I have to see if I can find out, but I quadrupled my normal downloads. Actually, it was more than that in one day. I thought it was a mistake. I'm looking at my analytics. I'm like, what happened? And so I don't know, because I've been on a bunch of them. So I have to look that up.
It's so hard when that happens and you're like, where did you come from?
I know.
I had that a couple weeks ago. I'm like, holy cow. I got a week's worth of downloads in one afternoon. What happened? And I still don't know, except that series I was doing at the time was really popular and people were talking about it. So maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know yet.
Well, when you have a promo code, say, so you're here and I'll put any links you want me to in our show notes too. Do you have a code that will take them to a specific landing page or an other way, let you know that they came from this interview?
I have the regular page, but the promo code itself will tell me where they came from. So I'll do custom promo codes. So I'm like, oh, they came from Linda.
Okay. Yeah, I need to figure my website is brand new and I don't know how to do that yet. So I need to.
I use my email provider for that. So I use Flowdesk for all of my email marketing, checkouts, everything, landing pages. And you can do it there and it makes it super simple.
Awesome. That's great to know. Yeah, I've never used that, which is interesting.
I love it. And you don't have to pay for how many subscribers you have. You can have a bajillion subscribers and you pay the same amount.
So is it it's like a ConvertKit sort of thing? ConvertKit or MailChimp or it's...
Yeah, it's like any of those, I suppose. I haven't been in ConvertKit in forever, but it has landing pages, it has forms, it has workflows, checkouts, emails, and your regular analytics.
All right, awesome. I'm going to check that out. And you mentioned something about thank you pages. So is there something special with freebies and thank you pages?
Yes. When you have a lead magnet and someone downloads it, the thank you page should have some sort of order bump on it. So if you liked this, you might also like this, and it should be relatively low cost, but enough. The idea is to get as many people who are willing to pay on your list because they're more likely to buy something else and work with you. So have your thank you page act as an order bump page.
Okay. I've done that with products. Yeah.
Yeah. Add a countdown timer on it that triggers when someone goes to the page. So they only have a certain amount of time where they get that discounted offer.
I see that a lot, and they do seem to work. I know with what I do, if it's because I'm thinking of offering a kind of template or a guide, and to have, it's kind of like an upsell to be the recording of, I'm going to walk you through this. And this isn't it, because I just bought that from it's actually another copywriter. And she had this form. She says, oh, for another, $47, I will walk you through the whole thing. It was a complex form. So I bought it and I was like, okay. And it helped.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's walk through what that would look like with Flowdesk, because that's how I use it. So you can use the checkout and deliver your lead magnet that way. And you can just toggle to turn on an order bump. And then you can have the walkthrough available, and it will deliver it on the delivery page.
That sounds like, what was the one I was using? There was one I used when I had my fitness webinar, and it was real easy, and I can't think of the name of it now.
Was it Thrivecart or Lead Pages?
Thrivecart. So it's similar to that.
Yeah, similar to that.
Okay, because that was super easy. Because that's the whole thing is I hate having to rely on other people to set it up for me. It's I just want to be able to do it.
Yeah, Flowdesk would definitely be able to set it up yourself. I haven't used Thrivecart myself, but I have reverse engineered enough funnels that I know that Thrivecart does it.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, if I can do it, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
it's like, it's easy. Yeah. Well, how do you sell with a freebie? So if somebody is opting in, they get your freebie, and then is it like what you just said? Like, hey, if you like this, or is that, does
Yeah,
that work?
that's one element of it. So the first opportunity to sell after a freebie is that order bump or cross sell on the thank you page, and then move them over to that sequence, that email sequence that comes. And with every lead magnet, you should have an offer that naturally pulls to it, that like that lead magnet should prepare them for that offer that you want to eventually get them to. So in that sequence, I like to take little pieces of the lead magnet and dive deeper, give a deeper learning moment from it,
Mhm.
and then encourage them to take that next step. And then the last email in the sequence will be more direct, like, okay, now's your chance
Yeah.
to get that
Buy it.
at this exclusive price. It won't be available after that.
Yeah. And it's so funny because you hear these things like, you don't want to mislead people. And I listen to podcasts that talk about some of the people who are unscrupulous, like they just, will sell. Like, I'll give you an example. This is a couple of years ago. I don't even remember his name, but I bought a very low cost product. And when I went to download it or pay for it, I got on a page. I've never seen so many pop-ups and upsells in my life. And I knew what they were doing because this is, I'm in this business. And it was this huge sales page. And I was getting so annoyed because I just wanted the buy now button. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in anything else. And, and there was testimonials popping up and videos popping up. I almost didn't buy that small
That's
one.
annoying.
It really
I've had
was.
that experience too, where I'm like, well, this is a great example of what I never ever want to do, because I was so irritated that I didn't even want the product by the time I got to it.
And it's fine if it's something, that you want, but not,
There are some people who recommend you do up to 3 cross sells and upsells after that initial cart. I think that's way too much.
Yeah. Yeah. You get, especially when you know what they're doing and because you're in the business and you do, and it's like, you would never do that. And look, if it's something related to, like I said, if I bought a template that was very complicated and it was like, here's a video that can walk you through it. I like that it's a choice that, it made sense to me. So as long as I think it's kind of segues into what you just purchased, not so bad.
Any sort of upsell, cross sell, it should be related to that initial product that the person was interested in the first place. Even if all of your upsells and cross sells are related, I just think there's also a point where it's just too many of them.
It gets annoying. Yeah. It's like any other ad. It's like I get on Reddit a lot and people will post like an article. I go, let me see what this is. And you click on the article and it's like trying to get you to buy all this stuff and these pop-ups and ads. And I'm like, all right, I don't need to read this article that bad. Like,
I don't care that much.
I'm just not that invested in this. So if someone is just starting to think about a lead magnet, so they like, a lot of my audience is like in the health and fitness business. So say it's even a gym, or it's better yet, because it's B2B, a software company that sells to gyms. I know that I haven't asked you this in advance, so this is totally off the top of your head. But how would you figure, like, what are some things I could think about to create a lead magnet that might work?
So, and you said franchises. So maybe the lead magnet would make most sense, like how to help your franchisees get the most success. And it really would depend on what the software is, but it would
planning, scheduling, because a lot of them there's a lot of scheduling for their instructors, that's a big one.
Yeah, maybe something around organization within a franchise, how to stay organized, how to optimize your processes, something more high level that speaks to the pain that they're dealing with.
Right.
If they're looking for a software that schedules instructors, then they're probably dealing with like issues with the scheduling where maybe people are overlapping, or an instructor wasn't scheduled when they thought that they would be. So speaking to that pain would make the most sense.
Yeah. And that would make the most sense in the copy too. Like just, tired of showing up and having somebody else in your room when you're supposed to be teaching, which I know has happened because I belonged to gyms my whole life. So I'm seeing it. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it could be something around like optimizing your instructor schedule and keeping it high level like that.
Yeah. And if it was for like the members, I think that's easier because there's so many pain points there. Like if they were sending out a newsletter to members, would you have them have like, so I mean, a lead magnet, I guess, could be just like a welcome, almost like a welcome package to if people join, especially in January, like
a free gift. Yeah, a lead magnet could work. I mean, if they've already captured them, a lead magnet isn't really necessary. But I also offer that as like a first email gift. Like, here's a little thingy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they're trying to attract new members to it and it's January, then they might want to do something like a virtual workout session, or maybe they have a lead magnet that is the best exercises based on your body type, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I always dread, as someone who's there consistently all year long, I always dread January because I know the gyms are going to be mocked for about 2-3 weeks. And then you don't see these people anymore. You can tell they're new. They all have new clothes and they have the new shoes and they're like,
tag is still there.
And they're walking around watching what everyone else is doing, trying to imitate it and, doing the wrong thing. And I'm like, oh, man. But funny. Well, this has been great. So where can people find you? And I'll put all your information in the show notes.
Yes, they can find me at sarahnoelblock.com. That's my website. I hang out on LinkedIn. And if your audience is interested in learning more about this offer ecosystem we started to touch on, we talked about lead magnets, but the next step up would be gateway offers. I have a gateway offer challenge that's on demand now. So,
cool. Okay.
Like we were talking about, it's normally $50. This is exactly the gateway offer that I was talking about, but I will give it to your audience for $9.
That's awesome. Yeah, I want to check that out myself because there's always something to learn. Even if you've done this like a million times, it's still like you always pick up something new.
Yeah, gateway offers are like the best kept secret when it comes to service businesses.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. This has been a lot of fun and packed full of, I was taking some notes, so I'm going to go back through and listen, take some action on this. I appreciate it.